It's probably going to be controversial, but you shouldn't be telling somebody how to treat you in the beginning when they're pursuing you. I'm all for communicating and telling people what you need from them and how they can love you better and like love languages and all that kind of stuff. I'm 110% for that. But when you're dating, that person should act how that person is going to act. And as time goes on, you should be able to vet if that's actually genuinely who they are and their character, or it's just a ploy to keep you and get you until they don't have to try anymore. Now, there is nothing wrong with talking about some of your experience and like sharing about past relationships or a little bit of trauma here and there, but don't like trauma dump or overload it on someone. Because if you're handling with a manipulative or a narcissistic person, like oftentimes they want to find out what happened to be able to not do in order to rope you in, to trauma bond you, and then turn around and do those things. Granted, if it's a genuine person, like genuinely they're going to put their best foot forward and then their actions and behaviors are going to be completely consistent. But unfortunately, this is not true for the vast majority of people who are out there. They say and do just enough to get by just in order to get somebody without actually trying. As time goes on, you will see inconsistency, you will see their behavior and their character, because only people with a mask can put on this show for so long. Now, it is your job when the mask falls off is to not entertain those patterns and cycles and behaviors because you know that it's unhealthy for you. It's one thing to see them and choose to still entertain it versus like being unaware, seeing it, and then removing yourself, because you can't be held accountable for things you didn't know. But in the beginning, when you are talking to somebody or you're getting to know people or whatever the case is, they should treat you how they are gonna treat people. Pay attention to the way they handle stress and conflict and work and family and other things. Anything that can emotionally dysregulate them and cause their nervous system to be a point of triggered is a good way to tell how somebody is going to handle themselves, because it says a lot about how they're going to handle you. Do they run from it? Can they actually communicate? Are they completely honest and transparent? Like, how much can you trust? Even though there's a lot of things that you can't trust, because as time goes on, you build trust. Like, for example, I shouldn't have to tell you to be intentional and make time for me. You should just want to do that, and if you don't want to do that, then don't do it. But don't do it just to get me and then stop. I shouldn't ask about how your day is because I feel obligated to. I should ask because I genuinely care enough to ask and check in, because if I'm not going to keep that behavior and be consistent in asking how you are and taking interest in your emotional mental state, then I just shouldn't even be entertaining it at all. People don't understand that they get the lines blurred because they do just enough to get a person with inconsistencies, but the moment it's inconvenient for them and they don't need anybody anymore, they stop trying because it was never genuine in the first place. And sometimes that's a hard pill to swallow. But no, you shouldn't have to tell somebody how to treat you and be a decent human being and give you the bare fucking minimum. If their actions and behaviors and characteristics align, they'll do it naturally and stay consistent. You let someone act how they're going to act, and then you move your pieces. Because their actions and behaviors are going to tell you so much more than what their words will ever actually communicate to you. And if you sit back and watch and pay attention, you can tell a lot about a person more than actually listening to them speak. Because the ones who are doing some dumbass shit are the ones that squawk the loudest. So you give time, you enjoy the process, you vet that person, and you make sure that what they are presenting is who they are, and it's not someone with a mask trying to just get you. And if it ends up being that way, you learn and have enough self-respect for yourself to remove yourself as soon as your mental, emotional, or physical safety becomes in danger and in harm's way. Because nobody deserves to be with people who are going to just take advantage of them and use them when it's only convenient for them. You have to love yourself enough to be able to say no, like this is not it. Because if you are genuine in your approach, you can find people who are just as genuine back. Make sure your actions and behaviors are consistent too.